Hello there and welcome back to Satisfactory. Yes, we're back on Satisfactory once again, going to be continuing a single player on 1.1. So, if you want to hear last time, we actually, we got a decent amount done. We fixed our cable and wire stuff that we were worried about, as well as we did a little bit of temporary fixing of the plastic factory again. We, drained everything. Also, we got the factory up and running. We got everything belted. We got everything running. The factory is now running at 100% at 100 computers per minute. And we're filling up that train station. And then soon we'll be filling up the dimensional depots as well. So, yeah, pretty good there. That's pretty much all we got done. So today's plan is to hopefully start working on the walls and stuff to try and get a shell on this thing. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get on into it. Let's go. All right, and here we are. Let's try this again, shall we? Had a little bug with the software, the recording software there. It screwed up my whole video. Damn it. I gotta start over. Anyway, like I said, if you weren't here last time, we did get this factory up and running as well. Everything looks pretty good. And there's a few things before we get started here that I do need to kind of point out as well. And a few things that I didn't explain, and people are, pointing it out to me like, so yeah, I need to explain things. So first things first, let's go ahead and fix this machine. So one of the things I did at the very end of the episode was I had taken this machine right here. This machine was just a regular, we overclocked it twice, or overclocked it 200%, and it was working just fine, but we managed to find out that we need 800 per minute, because we take, so each factory uses 80, so we take 80 times 5 per floor, that's 400, and obviously 400 times 2 is 800. Well, our belts only do 780. That's what the Mark V belts do, so we're stuck at 780. So I was like, okay, let me just, so basically, let me reset this. And I'll put it back, of course. So this is the way it was set. So what I did was I was like, okay, well, what we'll do, instead of doing the 80, we'll do the 40 by putting in a summer suit, putting in 4 summer suits essentially, and we'll double our output, and then that basically we'll take this down to 80 because we're only using half. Well, actually, that's not true, because the factory, this had to be directly hooked to a factory in order for that to be a true statement. Unfortunately, these are going to be running at, the factory is going to be running at max speed no matter what. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. I was like, well, I can still remedy the situation, but I did not figure this out until after I was done recording. And I was doing the, I was doing the editing stuff, and I went back and watched this part of the footage, and I went, oh no, I didn't explain that. So sorry. But yeah. So what we need to do, in order for this to be, so that we use 40 rather than 80, is we need to, take the power shards out of it. So now this goes back down to 5. However, we're using a summer slip, so we're not changing the input at all, but we are making the 5 that is required per machine. And I've done this per side, so the way these are tied together is this floor and this floor is tied together on this side. And then you go to that side, and the way they're fed is so this side is fed from that elevator there. The opposite side is fed from this elevator here, basically. So that's where the belts are. But yeah, so that's the reason that works. That's the reason I need to explain that. So I've actually got 2 machines per side. So basically what I've done here is we take our 80 times 5, that's 1 floor. So we got 400. And what I've done is I've taken the power shards out of 2 machines for this one side. So we take that we take that 80 and we only times it by 3, which is 240. And then we take 240 plus 40, and then take that times 2, that's 320. So basically, I mean, you do that math any way you like, but yeah. So then we take that 400 and we plus that by 320. So this is now 720 as well. So we've got the 720 working there, which works really good. So we've gone down from 800 per minute to 720 per minute. We're now 60 under the belt speed, so that works perfectly for us. So that's the way that is set. So I just needed to explain that to point that out so everybody understood that. Just forgot to explain it. Second thing, I had it pointed out to me that the storage containers do not work as splitters because they favor the bottom side. This is a true statement, but if you change the circumstances, you can actually make it a perfect splitter. So let me show you an example. The train stations do exactly the same thing as the containers do. So if we go over here to our train station being filled up with computers here, this is still running. As you can see, you got the computers coming in. They're going through the train station, and then they're going from this train station to this train station. Now, if I had more computers taken out, then it would go all the way along. So you can see that is happening there. Even though I've got both belts hooked up, only the bottom belt's being used. That's just how the logic is of the game. When you've got two inputs on a single device, I guess you could call it, a single container of some kind, of single storage of some kind, whatever. You got two outputs. Then what it's going to do is it's going to favor the bottom one. This, like I said, this is a true statement. This is how it works. However, you can change that the way that works by doing a few things. So there's, in order for this to work as a perfect splitter, you can see I got both bottom side just as a quick little setup, so it was easy to see. It wasn't like all mixed up with all the other stuff. I've set that there. You can see this is where we had it, which I really don't like because the lift is clipping into the belt, and you can see the splitter is then splitting between the top floor and the floor above this one. That's just how it was working. So I didn't like that, so that's why I made the comment. I don't think it was near the end of the episode. I don't remember exactly when it was, but that is just the way it was said was. Why don't we just use the boxes as splitters, the industrial as a splitter? And this does work, but like I said, there's two rules. First rule, your belts coming out of the box, your two belts, cannot be running at max speed. They can, but you're kind of pushing it when you're getting to the max speed. So the max speed, obviously, with the belts is 780, and we're doing 720. 400 on this belt, 320 on this belt. So already we're in good standing there. The second rule that you have to follow, that must be 100% followed to make this work, is your belt coming in. So the belt coming in right here, this belt has to be higher than what's coming out. So this belt right here, this is directly hooked to the train station. I mean, it's hooked to the train station way over there, but it is hooked directly to the train station. There is no splits in it. There is no merging in it or anything like that. And it goes directly here. It's basically coming out of a storage crate, essentially a storage container, and going directly here. Now, this belt will turn off at times, but this belt is so long that it really isn't going to matter all that much anyway. These ones might struggle a little bit to catch back up, but that's fine. So this belt right here that I'm looking at, this belt is 780. And then we got 720 coming out. So you need to be putting in more than it is coming out. This way the storage completely fills up, and then it bypasses the logic of only using the bottom belt. It does not favor the bottom belt in that case because both the bottom belt and the top belt aren't running at full speed, and what's coming in is filling the box faster than it can come out. So yeah, as you can see there, sometimes the top belt will go first, sometimes the bottom belt will go first, sometimes they'll go at the same speed, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's another thing I needed to explain that. That was my apology there. That was my bad. But when people point that stuff out to me, I'm just like, damn it, I need to I need to explain that because I completely forgot. So thank you for pointing that out. It was just one of those things that, you know, I mean, when you've played for thousands and thousands of hours of Satisfactory, you do tend to forget things, and you tend to take liberties on the audience of knowing what you're doing a lot more when you get to that many hours. So you're doing one video a day and all that stuff. So you tend to take liberties that the audience is going to know what you're talking about without you explaining it. It's kind of like between me and cars, right? When I'm working on mechanics and I'm talking about mechanics and stuff like that to other people, I get like if I'm not paying real close attention to what I'm saying, I tend to take my brain tends to default to they know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to explain it as if I'm explaining it to another mechanic. That is not how that works, obviously. Yeah. And then we come over here. So another thing we have to change, or a thing we have to change, is we do need to change this. This storage box is not going to work. And I'll tell you exactly why it's not going to work. Because you got two belts coming in, right? You got one belt coming out. This one goes down to the train station. This one goes to our two-dimensional depots. And then this belt right here goes down to the sink. That sink is currently turned off. However, if that sink was running, this box would never fill. This box would always be empty. So therefore, you know, removing the need for this box entirely. The only reason I have this box is so that I can have enough to upload into the dimensional depot. However, the way this is set up is definitely not going to work, because like I said, as soon as I turn on that sink, this box is going to empty itself into that sink. So basically what you'd have to do instead of that is take this splitter that's going down our train station, our very first one, that smart splitter, and put it on this side of the box instead. Now, wherever you put the industrial storage container, we definitely want that splitter before that going to our sink, essentially. And then these two here need to come after this split as well. And there's a few different ways we can do that. I'm actually going to move the dimensional depots as well, because underneath we have enough space underneath the main floor right here that we can put the dimensional depots down here as well. So if I remove this, as you can see, this is where my sink is, because, well, I couldn't really find a good place to put a single sink, and I didn't want to put the belt all the way back up to the roof to put in the sink, so I just stuck it down here. Yeah, what we can do is we can put our two-dimensional depots underneath this. We can, and then we can get rid of the need of that box entirely doing that. Because what we'll do is we'll hook it directly to the train station. So basically what we'll do is we'll take ourselves a floor hole and do that. But yeah, like I said, you know, I'm always happy for people to point that stuff out, especially if I do something wrong, or maybe they don't understand something, you know, whatever. He's like, I'm always happy for people to point that out, because I'm always happy to explain it, you know. I'm always happy to explain my position on things. And if I turn out to be wrong, heck, I'll say it. I'll be like, yeah, I was wrong there. It's happened. It's happened a few times. Quite a few times. It's just like, I'll say something is one way, somebody pointed out, actually that's incorrect, and then I pointed out the next video and go, yeah, I was definitely incorrect there, my bad. It's just the way it is. I mean, like I said, as many hours as I have in this game, you would think I would never be incorrect about anything. No, I'm incorrect about stuff all the time, and sometimes I'll say stuff that just make no damn sense. You know, because like I said, you kind of get into that mode of, or maybe it doesn't seem like it makes any sense, so then you ask, you know, the hell you talking about? That's just the way it goes, though. That's the way it goes. You know, I might put the dimensional depots behind here. Do this. Let's put in a floor. But yeah, like I said, don't be afraid to point stuff out. I'm always happy to explain things, or explain what's going on, that kind of stuff. So it's always good. Even if you're just like, man, you're acting like an idiot. Like, yeah, I guess I am. That should work there. Even with the sink going. Okay. We'll go like that. And we just go like this, I guess. There we go. Alright. Logistics. Splitter. Come on. There we go. Stupid autosave anyway. That's a merger, by the way. Okay. Perfect. Well, not really, but like I said, down here, I just don't really care. You're not going to be able to see this anyway. And that goes into the uploader, so then we can just straight up fix that. But yeah, like I said, today's plan is going to be trying to get walls on this factory, so I can actually make it look like what we want it to look like, and then we'll worry about. Anybody else see that, or was I just crazy? Probably just crazy. Okay. Okay, the storage box. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move the storage box slightly. And what we'll do is we'll move that this way. Okay, we can pick up all this stuff. Yeah, so then what we'll do, remove the box. Yeah, that's how I think that's how I want to play this. I might merge these two belts instead. I don't think we need the storage. It's supposed to be a little inspection line that I was putting together. And then we'll go merger. Put that in the middle. I was like, don't tell me I removed that hole. That should be good. And then, yeah, we'll use the straight mode. Make this look decent. Come on. There we go. It's only 100 per minute anyway, so it's not like it's a crucial thing. Oh, come on. How is that not valid? Oh, because it's default. Or it wasn't default. I hate that it shows valid, but then it's not valid. I really don't like that. We'll have a little kink in there. And then we'll just go logistics, and we need organization. Or no, logistics. We need a smart splitter. Put it there. Alright. That way I can use the control. I'll go left is going to be any. I said left. Left is going to be any. And forward is going to be overflow. Yeah, it just removes the need for the box. I mean, we don't really need the box anyway. The box was just there for the uploaders anyway, but we don't need that anymore because we're using the train station as a buffer for that. Like, well, not that it's really needed anyway. There we go. Okay. Now I feel better about that already. That looks good. He's still favoring that. Yeah, look at all the computers. Hell yeah. Can't wait to get started on the adaptive control units factory, get that done, and then we can completely wipe out our temporary factory area because that'll be the last factory that we had temporarily made. And then that'll be all permanent factories from then on. It'll be so nice. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with a few blueprints. I'm going to make a few blueprints here, and I think I'm going to do pillars. I think I'm going to use the concrete pillars and then paint them. And we'll paint them to match this building over here. And in fact, I might even just middle click it just to grab that. But yeah, we're going to make this, basically we're trying to make this look like a modern day hotel. That's what the rounded edges are for on each end. And we're not going to be able to see into the hotel. It's not going to be a functional hotel or anything like that, but it's going to look like a hotel. It's going to kind of look like one. We're going to have like windows and stuff, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put lights in behind the windows. Or just use the billboards as the lights themselves. And then we'll put like some frames and stuff. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I need to use the blueprinter quite a bit here. So let me put together a few blueprints and then we'll see about putting a shell on the outer side of this thing. Okay, so after a few more crashes, I think I finally got or damn near all the blueprints that I'm going to need to basically encapsulate this entire factory. We are going to have to move some of the floors, like the shape of them. We might have to push them in or delete them and place like a half foundation or something, because yeah, it's the way I had planned it was working out really great until I got to the corner, and then I was like, oh man, there's a gap in the curvature of the corner. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna have to push that in. So yeah, unfortunate, but it is the way it is. I might end up moving this this light controller, because this light controller is kind of gonna be it's gonna end up being completely what do you call it? Actually, don't know what you would call it. It's going to be completely covered up. We'll say. Want to be in line with those light fixtures. I think that's in line. All right, but I want it to be like, yeah, like here. Okay. So yeah, first things first, let's move this. Oh, wait. That's right, I put it in line with this one. Oh, of course. I'm stupid. That's just how it goes sometimes. Okay. Oh, we should be... Yeah, it looks like we're pretty much done with computers. Which is good. I might turn on that sink soon. Organization. And we need our light controller. Oh yeah, so I didn't explain. My bad. So one of the things I just ran into, unfortunately, is the fact that is the fact that I keep crashing due to the object limit. So this object limit is it's kind of like a float limit from what I understand. So you end up running into it when you build big factories, crazy factories like mine. It's not necessarily a fault of the game. It's a fault of how big you build, and and maybe it's a little bit of fault of the 1.1, because it did seem to happen after when I went into 1.1 experimental branch when it released for people to test out. I kept running into the object limit, and it seems to keep happening. But I think at this point we're starting to get into the territory of, yeah, it's actually our fault rather than the fault of the game. So I'm willing to accept that. So I finally broke down with it. I finally broke down and edited the engine I to include the object limit, upping it to 500,000 right now. I don't know if we're going to hit that, because you don't want to go too high. From what I understand, if you go too high, you can end up making your game extremely unstable. And obviously this is a very dangerous thing to do. So if you do end up doing that, do not do it lightly, because it is not a thing that is recommended for that issue. For the recommendation for that issue to truly fix that problem without making your game unstable is to just not go so crazy with the build. And it's like they say, during normal gameplay, you're not going to end up running into issues with that object limit. But unfortunately, that's just how it is. So, with this particular thing. Alright, so we're going to be turning off the power of our factory here. And remove this one. Remove that one. There goes the entire factory power. Remove that power pole. Put that back up there. Perfect. Okay, now we can remove this. And I'm going to temporarily reconnect up to here so we have power for so we have power surrounding our thing. Yeah, so we got our power coming in. There goes to our power connector, and then our light controller. There we go. Just make sure it's set correctly. We got our light controller working pretty good as well. Yeah, I'm just going to start putting light controllers for every factory as well. Yeah, so we've upped the object limit. It was 260,000, I believe, is the object limit, and then that when you hit that limit, it causes the game to crash. We have upped that limit to 500,000, so hopefully it'll take a bit longer to hit that limit before the game crashes. So yeah, that's just one of those things. All right, so first things first, we're going to go to Blueprints, and we're going to go to Computer, and we're going to go to Computer Factory. Was it 4? Yeah, it was 4. So, like I said, I wanted to make this factory look like basically a hotel. It's not going to be exactly like a hotel or anything. It's not going to be crazy like that, but we will be making that work. I think what I'm going to do, because we need to move this in like this. Might do that. It'll still cover up for the most part, I think. Yeah. It'll still cover up for the most part. I need to figure out a way to make this work without having to modify the floors themselves. All right, let's see if this blueprint works. And then blueprint. I believe we drop this down, don't we? Or do we leave it? Well, I guess we'll see once it builds. We'll have to wait for the build first. There we go. Okay, so we drop it down 2. Just like that. Okay, yeah, see, now this floor is needed to be modified, unfortunately. Yeah, that was the issue I knew we were going to run into. Okay, probably should have these on a hotbar somewhere, but yeah, well, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. I need to be 2 away from that edge. Okay, so there. Blueprint mode, drop down 1, 2. Drop down 1, 2. Oh wait, there's... That's right, I need blueprint, I need computer... Oops. I need computer factory 5. There we go. So it looks like the only floor... Well, I guess this floor is also in contention. So we've got 2 floors we need to modify slightly. Which is actually okay. I'm actually quite happy with that. Alright. So why put that to the edge, you think? You know, right here? Actually, we got 3... No, we got 2. Okay, so it's just those 2. Alright. So 2 floors to modify. The rest of them are fine. Wait for the autosave here. Blueprints, and then we're going to go to computer 6, I believe it is. Computer 6. So what I've got here is I've got this little up. So some of the hotels I've seen do this kind of thing, where they go up a little bit near the edges of the build, which I thought was pretty cool. So I'm going to kind of mimic that. It's just a simple blueprint as well. Nothing super fancy or whatever, or what have you. Okay, so then we go, what is this one? This one's computer 6. Alright, so then we need 7. Oops. And this one's slightly different. And I'll go up here, you can see why. Because it's the very top piece, I needed to modify it slightly differently. Just to make that fit. Yeah, so we're going to definitely need to modify this entire floor. Pushing it in on the very outer edge. That's just how it's going to have to be. And the reason that we have to do it this way is because when we start coming to these corners, if you go out full, I'll actually show you. Was it 12? Yeah. This is the last one I modified. Now I probably need to make another one. Oops, we go out. So this is where we go out there. If we go out 1, 2 more, so we're on the very edge of the foundation. You see there's a gap right there. I might be able to cover that up, you know? And then we don't have to modify our floors. Actually, that's not a bad idea, and that could potentially give a little more depth to it. If we do like what I'm thinking is if we do like a beam or something, or maybe even another pillar. We just throw a pillar. I know how we can do it too. We can throw a pillar Oh, maybe a beam, 2 beams. Use 2 beams, run them up the side. We just paint them the same color as this, and that kind of blends in, but gives a little bit more depth to it. And then we just run some beams up the sides of the buildings and stuff. Maybe even add them to the blueprints. I'm not 100% sure. I still need to delete these in order to make that happen. But actually, that's not a bad idea. So basically, we go architecture. We take ourselves a beam here. And we run it up the top of the blueprint. Just like that. And how much depth do we want to give this? Yeah, we'll give all the depth. So that's full depth there. Yeah, we want it on both sides because it's not actually, these aren't going to overlap. Well, they are going to overlap a little bit, but they're not going to overlap entirely. Yeah, that does give more depth to the build. I will agree. That is not bad at all. I'm not going to do anything special with them. I don't necessarily want to change too much. Let's go default with this. Does that... So which one's more obvious? The one on the left, yeah. Alright, so super shiny is the way to go there. Oh, whoops. Oh, I'm an idiot, of course. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. That was stupid of me. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we can go and save that. We're going to go ahead and resave that. Yeah, opening the blueprinter sometimes is a little bit laggy. So yeah, we got to load up anything that we've made. Basically all of these blueprints and add beams to them. But that's the basic idea, so yeah. And we'll just run this blueprint all the way around the building to completely encase it. And that'll be that. That'll be just about the computer factory pretty much finished other than the base. We'll get the base down. I did want... Oh, no, we're actually not done. We still got to add the manta ray hole up here on this floor. So once we get it encased, then I'll work on getting a hole for the flying manta ray to fly through as well. And maybe we'll gussy it up with some lights or something to make it look interesting. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But let me get this shell done first, and then we'll see where we can go from there. Alrighty then, there we are. Finally got the outer shell of the building completed. Yep, just about what I was going for, which is perfect here. So, yeah, that's actually really nice. Finally able to get this done. So next time we can get started on adaptive control units. The manta ray does clip a little bit every now and again. It's just how it is, especially because it rises up so high here. It ends up like clipping right into my, just ever so slightly, just kind of touches it, brushes the, just gives that splitter a little bit of a tickle, you know. This is the way it is. But yeah, and I was planning on putting a wall up here, but I'm not 100% sure about it yet. The other thing that I want to do, and I think I will do eventually at some point, I'm not too worried about it right now, but I would like to put up an inner wall to kind of cover up our large billboards here. We ended up using a lot of billboards, a lot of my stuff, all of my stock pretty much of the what are they called? These things. I had to actually buy some more crystal oscillators. That's it. It looks like we've restocked up the dimensional depot, but I need to go and put these over at the main base at some point and get them out of my inventory. But yeah, we ended up running out of those, so I'm gonna have to make some more. I have a temporary factory making them, actually, and a temporary factory making AI limiters as well, if I remember correctly, sitting over there. But with the finished product of the computer factory, we're able to move on to adaptive control units. So next time we'll be able to do the adaptive control units, get the factory going and stuff like that. Should be good. And then once the adaptive control units are finished, once that factory is done, I think we're going to put it roughly probably around here-ish somewhere, just like right over there. Because like I said, we're gonna be using up the grasslands loop here as much as we can by putting factories, connected to the train line like we have over here, which I think once we get our all the buildings in place, damn near, it's actually not gonna look too bad, especially different factories of different designs and stuff like that. All these factories kind of just around the place, I think it could look pretty good as well. But yeah, that'll be the next thing, which is adaptive control units. I don't think we're going to need to make too many of these. I'm not 100% sure though, because and the reason we need them is because we need to make the assembly directory systems, which the assembly directory systems, there's also only one recipe for that. So that one is that and supercomputers. So we won't be able to do the supercomputers for a while, I don't think, because we need high-speed connectors and AI limiters. Or if we want to do this one, we'll need electromagnetic control rods and batteries. Or this other recipe would be really good as well, which would be the cooling or the OC supercomputer. Although the OC supercomputer is really nice on the production rate, I really would like it to be a manufacturer because the manufacturer actually does make a supercomputer that is the animation portion of the factory. So I think a manufacturer would be pretty good. So we could pick between these two. We could do batteries, the super state computer, because if we did batteries, then we would have a need to actually make a battery factory, which would be really cool. And I'll do the classic battery style, which I really like. The only problem with this though is wire. Wire is a huge component of that, and this one would probably make more sense. Just doing the regular supercomputer recipe. We'll need more plastic, but I've already got that planned out. And then yeah, we'd need these two factories, high-speed connectors and AI limiters. One of those two, or both of those, we would need to do the supercomputers, and then we would finally be able to make that part of Phase 4. However, like I said, the next portion is going to be the adaptive control units, and once we knock that out, get that factory built, we'll be able to completely remove the temporary factory, the huge temporary factory that's making adaptive, well, it was making adaptive control units. So, it is that. But yeah, getting those adaptive control units done, then we can wipe out pretty much all of the temporary stuff. And then it'll be pretty much, like I said, mostly, like I said before, it'll be mostly, mostly permanent factories. The only other two factories, like I said, AI limiters and actually I think stand fluctuators as well we were making over there. We're making stand fluctuators, AI limiters, and the crystal oscillators. But we also need to do the radio control units so we can get the pressure conversion cubes started, and then get those pressure conversion cubes started, and then we'll have everything we need to do the nuclear pasta. So that one's two factories away. So we're actually getting close. We're slowly running through these factories, but I think we can start knocking them out now that we've got a connection all the way around the entire map as far as rail line goes. Any other rail lines are just going to be like either bypasses or just going straight to factories, or just whatever. I think that could be that. But yeah, I'm so glad the computer factory is finally done, and next will be adaptive control units. So yeah, pretty happy about that. So unfortunately, I do believe that is going to be it for this episode of Satisfactory. So next time, like I said, adaptive control units, we'll get that started, get that factory started. I don't know if we'll get it done by the end of the week. I doubt it, but we just might. Also, like I said, apologies for the triple upload today that you're going to be seeing. Obviously, one video is already out by this time, but yeah, triple upload is because the power outage and stuff like that while I was trying to upload the two power outages we had while I was trying to upload the Roadcraft episode. Man, it just that episode just did not want to get uploaded apparently. But yeah, so you'll have this, and then you'll have a TCG Card Shop Simulator, if it's not already out by now, of you seeing this. So anyway, like I said though, that is going to be it. So I do hope you enjoyed. Oh, and before you go, I'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of the investors you can see on your screen right now. Seriously, thank you. You guys are awesome. It is much appreciated. And until next time, I guess it's a goodbye.